On the corner of 187th and Belmont Avenue. This was my neighborhood. This is a Bronx tale.
It's the story of a young man caught between the father he loves and the mom boss he'd love to be. A Bronx tale takes place in the 60s, and this musical is now playing at the Straz. It's based on the hit film of the same name. And today I am joined by actors Joe Barbara and Richard H. Blake. Gentlemen, welcome back, I should say, because we've already got you involved in the kitchen here.
I know. I want to go back over there and finish my shrimp and my wine.
I understand. So that means we got to hurry the interview so they can get to eat. But guys, of course, thank you so much for being here. You were on stage last night, as a matter of fact. How's the Tampa audience?
Fantastic.
Yeah. We like
really,
it.
I'm not, and you know, you expect us to say that, but no, it was fantastic. It really was, right?
Yeah, and
I mean, one of the best audiences we've had in the entire tour.
Beautiful theaters, too. You know, the Straz Center is absolutely gorgeous.
We're very lucky.
Look out there and see 2,600 smiling faces. It's great.
Screaming, laughing. I mean,
and it's kind of a homecoming in a way, just the other side of the Florida, right?
Right, straight up I-4. I grew up in New Smyrna Beach, so I think this might be one of the first times I've actually performed professionally in Florida, if you count a few little side things. But yeah, yeah, this is great.
I actually opened that theater.
No kidding.
I did that back in 1980. I was in the first show ever at the Straz Center. A show called Teddy and Alice.
Really? So this is
nice to be back. It's a homecoming as well.
I like that. So when you say that you truly love the Straz, I mean, there's a part of your heart that's there.
This is nostalgic for me, yes.
I like that. Well, again, nostalgic may be a good way and a good way to transition into a Bronx tale.
Because it's sort of nostalgic.
There we go.
I like that.
You see how what I did there?
Well done.
Well, tell us about it. Kind of set the stage if people are not familiar with the one-man show that was or the movie that was. Explain what we see.
So many years ago, in the late 80s, Chaz Palminteri, who you would know is playing Sonny in the movie and also, you know, Academy Award nominee, Chaz started to write a one-man show for his acting class and just wrote about his life. And people loved it. It grew and grew, and he started to do it in a little theater in Los Angeles. And finally, Robert De Niro walked in one day and said, let's make the movie. And they shook hands. They made the movie together. The movie came out in 1993. It was a big success. And then Chaz took the one-man show back to Broadway years later. And now the one-man show has grown into a full-blown Alan Menken-written musical. Spectacle, if you will.
Do you like that?
Directed by Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
With Alan Menken. If you don't know the name Alan Menken, he wrote Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Little Shop of Horrors. I mean, he's got 8 Academy Awards.
He's someone who has an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. So yeah, so he's
EGOT.
It has the EGOT, the infamous EGOT.
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious. When it comes to the 60s, it seems like it's that era that just keeps giving back. Music, stories. What do you think it is about the 60s that always lends itself to such fabulous stories?
You want to take it?
Well, I mean, particularly in what we do in the musical world, I think helps a lot because the music was so great from that era. The doo-wop sound, the Motown sound, and we have all of that in our show, and it really sort of takes you back. So I think that's why it's such a success in musicals, that era. And also the time. It's a time that your audience and your theater going can remember and takes them back. It is nostalgic, and you know, we like to revisit that. We like to revisit, you know, the simpler times in our life.
And the show goes from everywhere. In the 60s, it goes from 1961 to 68. And the 60s themselves, I mean, the music went from doo-wop, you know, Dion and the Belmonts, you know, all that doo-wop stuff that we think of as 50s music, went from that all the way through R&B, Motown, Beatles, into you know, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, all of that sort of big band stuff that, you know, so it spans so many different styles of music, and the show does that as well. You know, Alan Menken wrote this music to sort of give homage to all the different styles that we think of from the 60s.
The soundscape of the show is fantastic.
Soundscape.
The soundscape.
We came up with that. He came up with that first thing in the morning, just when we got in the car.
Well, I gotta be honest, I can't add any more. You guys have done a fabulous job with selling the show.
We're just getting started, by the way.
Fabulous. I wish. Can you stay the rest of the hour?
Sure.
Keep popping back? I don't know.
More shrimp and wine.
More shrimp and wine. We're good. Maybe not.
We're here.
Well, bottom line, everybody, you need to go and enjoy A Bronx Tale for yourself. It's playing through Sunday at the Straz Center. And for tickets, you can call 813-229-STAR or StrazCenter.org. Guys, thanks again for having fun with us this morning.
Our pleasure.